Okay. Also, also we are live, so
Hey everybody, good morning. Happy Friday. Happy casual Friday. Wait. I have my Keep Calm and Teach Art shirt on, so y'all know that's, my appropriate shirt for the day. I decided David was grousing that I always wear a ReaperCon shirt, so I whipped out one of my teaching shirts instead. There we go. There I am. Centered. Ta-da. And I've got a Clever and a On the Road to Tiamat and Margaret and a Robin and a Cornico and a Jedi Jared and a Crispies and a Heather and a Kaz and Otter Mama and Enki. Yes, sorry I was late. Kiwi had a accident and then I had to take her out and that was chops like 15 minutes out of my morning. So then I was late with my muffin and late with my everything else. So yeah, that was pretty much today. Let's hope it improves, right? It's got to. It's Friday. We made fish tacos last night, and they were amazing. There, I can bring up something happy fish tacos. This is my second try at fish tacos, and this time I nailed it. Um, Robin called it. Did he say it was a Kiri accident? Yeah. When I'm late, when I'm really late, it's always a Kiri accident because I hate being late, guys. So like, it takes a bit for me to be more than a couple minutes late. Like it takes something happening, and it's almost always Kiri's butt. So yes, dog Kiri accident. Kiri emergency is what I tend to call it. The Kiri emergency. So yes, but now she's asleep, having expelled all of the poop that is possible for a small dog to expel. I have to laugh, right? You have to laugh because elderly dog. It's like having a puppy. You can't get mad when the puppy has an accident. It's the nature of the puppy. So you just have to kind of run with it and kind of see the comedy in it eventually after you get your initial grumpy over. Yep. Hey, Everlina. Hey. All right, let's work on Spirit Beast. I'm gonna paint the tail, and then I'm gonna try to do that pretty quick, and then I'm gonna probably try to putty the tail because the tail is interesting in that it goes straight from fur texture to feather texture here, and I'd kind of like to blend that in with some green work. So we'll see if we get to that. If we get to that, then I'll also green stuff the wing. And whatever I have left over, I'll probably make some water. I'm gonna make a bunch of green stuff today. Anyway, my water looks really good. Let me get. There we go. You watching this while cooking, Korniko? Yeah. We did fish tacos, and this time I fried them in shallow oil. I hate doing deep frying because it's such a waste of oil. I just can't get over it.
wait. Do you not save your deep fried oil?
I don't have a deep fryer, Justin, so I really have no way to save it. I can't, I hate it. I hate dealing with dirty oil. I hate keeping it around. I've never loved deep frying. Like, I'm really tempted to get an air fryer because if I need to fry anything, I'd rather have like a more efficient way.
Oh, I
Um,
I can't suggest getting an air fryer more. Just just first. Like that's my. We got one like I think 3 weeks ago, and I have cooked so many things in it
mm-hmm.
quickly. It made my lunches easy since I typically have about 5 minutes to eat
Right.
because I've got a million things I'm doing. So like it is perfect first
Mm-hmm.
off. But I will say, uh, I grew up doing the old coffee can trick where
Yeah.
you have
Dump it in
used
there. Yeah.
you dump it in there and then you just recycle it when you need it.
Well, and it works if you're using peanut oil or something. I use avocado because I can't have peanut oil.
Oh,
So yeah, so that's the problem there. So yeah, so
does
I
that
did a
spoil faster?
yeah. I mean, it is a plant based oil and not a. I mean, peanuts are legumes, so it is different and it does have a definite perishable date on it. So that's why.
I
Yeah,
I have avocado oil because I know the smoke point's really high.
yeah.
And I use it for searing every now and then, but I kind of stopped using it because felt like the avocado taste really came through, and I
Really?
didn't want it to.
I can't
Yeah,
tell. It's my neutral oil. Like maybe it's the brand that I buy because I buy Napa Valley Naturals, and I've always felt that the avocado flavor was really subtle. So it's my neutral oil if I don't want, because olive obviously has a very strong taste. The only oils I use are coconut, olive, and avocado. Those are the three oils that are legal on my diet. Um, I want to
okay.
answer Robin's question real quick, though. Robin, wood putty is good for specific things, but it's not good for this. When you're sculpting water or you're gap filling, wood putty, that wood like putty, is not good for that because it is not sticky. And when you're doing something like gap filling on a wing or the tail or sculpting water, you want a certain resistance and a certain stickiness to it, especially when you're gap filling. You need that stickiness to adhere it to the model. So, I was able to get away with it on this base because I was just laying it on a flat surface and then just letting it, set. But if I tried that on a wing, it would be a pain in the butt to get it to stay on something that's, upside down and or vertical. So every putty has strengths and weaknesses. Every material that you will use in hobbying has strengths and weaknesses. There is no one size fits all. I prefer green over wood putty on this too because I can get it to keep. I don't know. It's less crumbly. It's flexible texture. The green's flexible texture, I think, lets me get more natural like water shapes as far as it goes. I don't know. I'm just so used to like doing the green on it. And I suppose wood putty could be okay for this. Although I don't think I could pull it up quite as thin on the peaks because it does crumble when it gets to that like thin level. It doesn't hold together very well. So pulling out these thinner peaks on these waves with the wood putty would be very hard. The wood putty would just tend to pull apart or fragment. It's very different. What that wood like putty is good for is stonework. Using a core of Sculpey or cork and putting down flat layers of stonework that you can then carve or gouge or make brick shapes out of. It's excellent for that. But with anything that you need shapes or precision or stickiness, it is not good. So get that. Yeah, I would say that the wood putty is a very good basing medium, a very good basing medium in general for anything you don't have to pull really thin and keep its shape like the waves. Hey, Gergie. Sorry, I'm answering everybody. Hold on. Let me get back to some other questions here. I totally was talking. And all right, yeah, all right. Oh, I wanted to since Robin brought up the boyfriend, David is going to be doing a show next Friday, guys. 1 week from today, on June 5th. He is going to be on here. He's going to actually show you a base that he did with the wood putty for Trista, the White Wolf. He's going to be also doing I think it's NMM on her. So he's going to be doing a show next Friday here. He'll be on instead of me. And although I will be here probably commenting from the background and also probably writing her on chat for him. But yeah, so all right. Let me make sure that I've got it all. Alrighty. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's venison, right? Venison is tasty. Thank you, Kariniko. I'm glad you like my water. I like my water too. I think it's coming along quite well. Yeah. Discerma, there are many ways. There's no great way right now to achieve a stained glass effect. Probably the easiest way would be to use clear plastic card, like a blister top, except, just cut out very pans, or cut out your window shape. Do this. Use green or another putty to do the framework of the black, lead bars. And then use clear, very clear. Usually I recommend the Tamiya clears, Tamiya, Tamiya. They have clears that are not, they're kind of water soluble, but they're a bit of a weird duck. They're very clear and they really do dry and look like stained glass, and then fill in your panes with that. That would be the go-to, has been the go-to for several years for stained glass, if you want to do stained glass. And I think they sell a red, yellow, green, and blue, so you'd have to mix your purple and your orange. Yeah. I mean, Rax is bringing up clear UV resin. You could do resin also, although I find it's a lot harder to do it when you can just use clear plastic art in color. Um, Water effect stuff. Yes, I mean, technically, but you'd still be using a base of plastic for it because you need to pour that water effect stuff onto something. At that point, you may as well just use clear plastic. No reason to use the water effect, really. Unless you need it to be more durable, like pouring after you have your lead, your green stuff or your putty bars sculpted in, you could pour a thin layer of gloss or of the water, the realistic water, not the water effects, but realistic water. Because remember, you want it to be flat, and realistic water is not flat. Or sorry, water effects is not flat. Realistic water is a pourable medium; it is flat. So yeah, so that would be the dealio. But yes, okay, good. Trying to catch up with everything. Yada yada yada. So yeah. So okay. So now I have a question for those of you who have air fryers as we begin working on Spirit Beast. What brand do you have? And would you recommend it? Is there anything annoying about it? I'm looking for something that's easy to clean, and something that would do like breaded meat easily. Because I think we don't fry anything. We might do onion rings, I suppose, but other than that, I doubt we'd use it for much more than like doing like meat or maybe some onion rings.
I think the brand on ours is Power XL is the name of it.
Oh yeah.
But it's like a 5 quart or something. It's incredibly easy to clean, like super easy, because the whole bucket itself you can just wash out, and the thing that it sits on can just come out.
Hmm.
Also, so it's pretty simple. But I mean, it's simple as set the temperature, set the time. That's it. There's no other.
All right.
It's very, very, very simple.
And Gurgi says Ninja Foodie. All right, I'm gonna look all these up after you guys give me this info after I'm done with stream today. Because yeah, I realized last night that it would have been much easier to fry our fish tacos. Now, will it do wet batters also, or does it only do like dry batters?
That I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think it does do wet batters per the recipe thing in the book that it gave us, or that
Uh
came
huh.
with us. And we never tried anything like that. We've only ever tried basically dry batters.
Okay.
I mean, I roasted some whole game hens in there, some
Oh,
poached game
nice.
hens.
Interesting. Oh, you have a big one
So
then. Yeah, we got to watch
yeah,
the footprint for our countertop, so I'll have to look at that when I'm looking at these. So, all right, interesting. Thanks for the recommends, guys. Yeah, I mean, we're looking at a couple of different appliances. For my birthday, David's talking about getting me a nice food processor. I've never had a really nice food processor. I've only got kind of half-assed food processors. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't want to even get into deep frying. I don't want to waste the oil. There are so many oils I can't use. I don't like the idea of keeping it around in a big bucket. So it's got to be. Although the shallow pan fry with the fish last night worked great, to be honest. I mean, I probably had a 1/4 inch of oil in there, which is a lot less than I was supposed to have. But I just turned the fish like on each side, and it did a great job, and it was really like good at the end. So it hit the internal temperature just fine, and had an even crisp. So I have a pressure cooker, and I never have used it yet, Crispies. It's just like I guess what I'm most likely to use it on is when I would make stock. Like I hear it's amazing at that. But I haven't roasted a chicken or a duck out here yet, so I haven't been in position to make stock. And we already had a rice cooker. Hey, Planer. We already have a rice cooker because David had one from ages ago. We uh so we don't need that. And so I can't use the pressure cooker for that because there's no point, even though it's supposed to make great rice. So yeah, I lucked, I kind of stumbled onto this pressure cooker and then I'm kind of at a loss as to how to use it. A lot of the things it makes are things that I have a preferred preparation for already, like a lot of vegetables. I would do a saute or a roast instead of the way that they bring it up. Yeah, soups sounds good. That's true. I could do fast soups with it. That's a great idea. Thanks, Nomad Zeke. I wouldn't have thought of that on the pressure cooker. I do like doing stews and pork roasts. And the thing is, I like meat in actual oven. Like, I like actually roasting meat. I prefer the flavor and the way that it gets a crispy crust and all that. I much prefer the actual oven, even though it takes time. But I can usually make time because I enjoy cooking. So I just wait for the weekend to do those long cooking recipes.
Do we have a pressure cooker, and it's just I've never really, I don't know, I never really found a use for it that I liked. Like ours is collected dust basically.
Yeah, that's kind of mine sitting in the pantry, just sitting there, being lonely and sad. All right, let's do the spirit beast tail. Let's start it light. Oh, I added too much water. See, you can tell because it's beating up a bit. I mean, it isn't too bad. It's like mostly it's wine stick, but I can see how it wants to bead as well. The only reason it's the thinned paint is sticking as well as it is because I washed it. So we're gonna actually put a little bit. I got a little over the top on my water there. So let's make our pink a little thicker. JS, this is actually clear magenta. It's the color I've been using for Spirit Beast all along. He actually has a little bit of it on his back. It's a mix of it with black for his horns, like you can see there. And then it's a mix of it with green to make the gray-blue that's on his shadows and stuff. So I've been using clear magenta for an awful lot on this mini. I kind of wanted to show it to people because it has a magic property of when you mix it with like a phthalo green, or in this case Pathfinder Tianzia Jade, it makes blue. So I cheated and used it that way just to show people the special magic of it. But yeah, this is clear magenta plus a drop or two of Besmara black. This is clear magenta, and this is the magenta plus white. About a 50-50 mix. So I'm going to thicken it up a bit. I got a little bit too crazy with my water. Yeah, see, I don't know, Francis, but then if I did saute in the pot, then I wouldn't use my amazing Le Creuset cast iron. See, I've got all these wonderful cooking implements that are heck of expensive, and I love them. And so it doesn't make sense to me to use the Instant Pot for that sort of thing, because I'd always rather saute in my, if I'm going to do a stew, I'm going to do it in my Dutch oven, because Le Creuset is amazing for that. So, yeah, it'll take longer, but like I said, I just planned for that. I mean, I am the woman. Yeah, I am the woman who will spend 6 hours or 8 hours making beef bourguignon. So, I definitely have no fear of the long cook time as far as it goes, as long as it turns out wonderfully. So I'm going to base coat this tail. We're just going to start with the pink, and then we'll work over it with various colors. Remember that if you ever want to do washes, like as if I was going to bring out details on these feathers, washes and glazes like I did on the wing, you want to start light. The later you start, the more play you'll have when you start adding, playroom you have when you start adding glazes and washes. So I could have actually started even lighter than this, but I kind of want it to go a little blue when I put the green over the top on some of these feathers. I also am seeing a mold line, and it's a doozy of one. So we may actually need to do some green work after all. Let me see. Well, it's going to be on the inside. Yeah, that's a hard call. So I have a bad mold line here that I only noticed when I started painting. But it's going to be on the inside of the tail, so it's not going to be visible. So that's a question mark, whether I want to spend the time to disguise it, because it really is a pain in the butt. Here, let me get... So it's a mold line that goes across this entire bit. And not only is it across fine detail, feathers, so that's the worst case scenario, right? But it's also convex. So it's in a hollow here. So it's gonna be really, really difficult to get that mold line off, just because you don't have a knife that curves that way. So the only way to deal with this is probably going to be green stuff. So it's like I'm going to just have to essentially green over it and resculpt the texture. So it's not an emergency if you yourself have a spirit beast, because obviously when you put the tail on, the rock is going to hide it, right? It's going to be right up, that section is right up against the rock, which could be why they did the mold that way. But It is something to make a note of. It is the worst case scenario mold line. And now I'm going to have to get a platform. Let's see, where's my... There it is. Yeah, I'm always suspect about that, Nomad Zeke, that when a thing that does one thing claims to do another if you just get an attachment, it tends to, like, I'm dubious. I'm dubious when something that's supposed to be one thing claims to be able to do another thing that's very different.
I agree. I share the same kind of with you there, 100%.
Yeah, my experience has been that they never work as well as the thing that was meant to do that thing in the first place. So...
What is it? A jack of all trades, the master of none?
Yeah, I mean, there's an exception. Sometimes you want a multitasker. I mean, obviously the Instant Pot is a multitasker in many ways, but there is a point where I'm just kind of like, yeah, but there are some things that you're just not going to be as good at. So yeah, I tend to, there's some specialty things like air frying seems to, like, it's, I'd want a machine that just did that. It would be like buying something that claims that it's like, a crock pot, but can also do sous vide. It's like, well, yeah, you could do it, but do you do it good? Do you do it well? I don't know. I'm dubious about that. And the fact that I don't use my Instant Pot already, and it's relegated to the closet instead of on the, anywhere else. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do need a food processor. I really am attracted to the idea of an air fryer because I like the idea of using less oil. Especially when you're buying expensive oil. Since I'm not supposed to have most of the non-expensive oils out there, like peanut or canola or whatever. Supposed to stick to high omega 3s and low toxin, and peanut is one of those inflammatory things. So just keep away from inflammatory stuff. So yeah, I have very limited oils that I can use, so it kind of makes me wonder. But anyway, made it work. I mean, we all lived and did things. Cooks did plenty of stuff before the advent of these modern contraptions. So I am inclined to just keep going like I'm going. We did buy a new cast iron. We bought a tiny cast iron, one of the little 8-inch ones, Justin. Mm-hmm. And that was really useful last night because it meant I didn't need to use a lot of oil to get a decent depth in the pan. So, because I did cast iron frying, so because I don't have anything else.
I love cast iron frying. That's like, I love my. To be fair, I use my cast iron for literally everything.
Yeah.
If it's got to be cooked, I use my cast iron. I eat spaghetti, you name it. Not for boiling the noodles, obviously, but like for the sauce and the ground beef or the sausage or whatever mix you use.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've gotten there. I was afraid of cast iron at first because I was afraid I was going to hurt it. Like get water on it or something and it would rust, or that I wouldn't take care of it well enough. But lately I've gotten very confident with it. So yeah, I reach for it. I reach for it for a lot of stuff. Oh, sense change. This is the Spirit Beast. Here, hold on. Spirit Beast. Here is Spirit Beast. I'm doing his pink tail right now. He won't stay all pink. The tail won't stay all pink, but it's easier just to base coat it. So he's got some pink on his back already, and his horns are going up toward a pink as I highlight them, and then I wanted the tail to pull in more of the pink. And I probably need to put a little bit of pink here and there. Like, there's a little bit of pink on the underside of his wings. I'm trying to work in all these different colors. But yeah, he's really cool. The water is hand sculpted. The rock does come with the Spirit Beast. Yeah, I don't do much dump it in and forget it anymore, Nomad Zeke. Like, there are some exceptions, like, obviously corned beef for St. Patty's. That's just made to dump it in and forget it, right? You just want that thing to go all day. Um, so definitely
I
for that. Hmm?
I wonder if I could make pho in an Instapot. That might be something I
Oh
would use my
yeah,
Instapot for.
yeah, that's a good
Maybe.
idea. Hey, Missed Imp. Yeah, it's okay. I was late too. Kiwi accidents. Yeah, convection. Yeah, I mean it's moving air pretty much. That just increases or decreases the cook time because it moves the air around better. I mean, even a grill will do convection because if you put heat on one side and you leave the other, leave the other side cooler, it will naturally convect. So different kinds of heat. Actually, that meathead book that somebody recommended yesterday has kind of an explanation of the different kinds of heat, and it's a really good explanation. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I painted my tail, and now I need to. I think while that dries, I'm gonna mix up green stuff. Although I guess I shouldn't because unless I'm just gonna putty this wing because this has to be all painted before I actually put it on the model. Maybe I'll just mix up my green and white. Yeah, the only thing we haven't tried in the we haven't tried a couple of things in the cast iron, and actually the little cast iron I'm looking forward to trying it for. I haven't done eggs in it yet, Justin, and I want to do baked goods like I want to try brownies in it or cornbread.
Yeah, that's one way I feel like my grandma uses hers that she does it masterfully. Like she'll make biscuits in hers and
Wow.
she'll do stuff like that and I'm like, I am not ready for that step yet.
Yeah.
I want to master I feel like the simpler things. But I'm with you there. I feel like not only that, but I love that it's the pan that I can just throw in my car and go camping with too.
Yeah.
Like I don't it is quite literally it feels like a can do everything pan.
Yeah. As long as you don't get it wet, don't leave it out in the rain.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely.
But yeah, other than that, yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, I use it a lot now. We pretty much David adds some stainless steel pans, and we just stopped using them. I mean, there's really no reason to use them in my mind if you have a cast iron because the cast iron is naturally nonstick, and stainless steel pan is always has such a heinous cleanup. Um, if you do anything like that is bound to kind of cook onto it. So for me, it was like a no-brainer. We just put his steel stuff away, and we don't even bother with it anymore. Yeah, they sell those too, Nomad Zeke, the chainmail scrubbing pad. What I found though is that once my chainmail scrubbing pad went down the garbage disposal and I didn't notice it, and it totally effed my disposal. So I just decided to use salt, which coarse salt, which is what I was kind of taught to use in the first place. So
I still use honestly, I still use regular dish soap. I just use it sparingly and I use depending on the situation. Occasionally I'll use steel wool, but I don't really cuz I basically reseason my pan after every cook. So, and I've got no problem doing that because I feel like it gets clean to my satisfaction, um, without the standard old,
each,
cast iron skillet usage of, oh, it's fine, it's clean because it's cast iron. And I personally like to clean stuff more than that. So I end up having to reseason a lot, which means I'm using soap and
yeah, yeah. See,
try
I
to.
don't. I don't reseason. I just use salt because if you use salt in a paper towel, you can essentially scour all the bad stuff off of it, no problem. And then I know because afterwards I'll run just a clean paper towel around it and see if I pick up any residue. And if I pick up just the faintest residue, it's clean. I mean, it's gonna anything that might be on there that might grow bacteria after that is purely gonna get scorched the minute I put it back on the burner and up the temp. So yeah,
Sure.
I don't like to use soap on it. David is like you though. He grew up doing his parents' cast iron, and he always used just a tiny amount of dish soap on it. But I don't even want to go there. Like I like how my cast iron has gotten to the point where it doesn't smoke, and just it's great, and now we're working with the little guy and trying to make it work well, and yeah, I love my cast iron. To each their own, though. I mean, obviously, if people do it with a little tiny bit of soap, it's not going to destroy it. So
No.
it is just your personal preference. Yeah, it's true. The salt creates a harsh environment for bacteria. That's a great point there, Paladin.
Salt was the early form of refrigeration for meat, essentially. That's how you could cure and keep things,
Oh,
good
okay.
for a
All
long.
right. I misunderstood you, Alpha. He says it's not true. He only used soap when it had something with really smelly on it, like fish. All right. We haven't done. Well, actually, we did fish in our cast iron last night, so. But I don't think it's too stinky. And only a tiny amount of soap. All right. So there. I'm corrected. I stand corrected. Yeah, I know the weight of it, right? That's why I wanted to get the tiny one, Miss Dimp, because the little 8-inch is so lightweight I can one hand it. And the big one I've got, I have to use two hands. I can't just do it with my wrist. So yeah, cool, awesome. Yeah, in case you haven't noticed, Alpha, we are talking cooking with Spirit Beast. Apparently, this is what we talk about when we do Spirit Beast. I don't know if it's a suggestion of venison or what, but yes. So there we go. So by the way, guys, when you're painting something like the tail here, which is kind of annoying, and you don't want to just get your fingers all over it and get paint on all over your fingers, having a big blob of poster putty on something like this piece of wood is a good thing, because I know I'm going to green over this top part here when I attach it to Spirit Beast, so I don't need to paint it, and I can just press that part into the putty and kind of keep it in this neutral area where it can dry on both sides without having to worry. You like your Spirit Beast medium rare? Yeah, that's exactly correct, Inara. I agree. They're probably well marbled with fat, don't you think? Official Tazlunch has entered the building.
Actually, I think they're probably pretty lean. If it's a wild beast, like they're
Yeah,
used to prancing around.
that's true. That's true. Unless you're feeding them acorns, they're probably not. I mean, who knows though? Maybe they're spirit beasts. Maybe they exist on apple pie and truffles. Maybe they just
That's
like
possible.
steal them off of the window ledges where they're cooling.
And
Maybe
they let their magical properties keep them like from harm's way, so they don't need to do a whole lot of crazy running away from stuff.
yeah, exactly. So I think
Speaking of spirit beasts,
the
when was the
spirit.
last time you actually had venison, man?
Actually, not long ago, because Sprouts had ground venison, and so I tend to use it to make chili because I love venison chili. So I use half and half venison and ground beef.
Oh man.
I do miss having venison so readily available though, because in Wisconsin, in deer season or after deer season, it's like everywhere, and that I can't find it as easily down here
Yeah,
or in Texas.
well, that's what I was gonna say. Is I think I'm gonna try my hand at hunting for the first time in my life this fall, if I
Yeah.
can, and hopefully I'll have venison. I haven't had venison in a decade, basically,
Yeah, I was
and
told that the deer in Texas are very gamey because of what they eat, so that
really,
all of the processing places that you would take your deer to will mix it 50-50 with ground beef automatically to cut down on the gamey flavor.
oh, okay,
Because somebody had brought venison to Reaper. I don't remember who, but they had a deer, or their brother had a deer or something, and so uh, they made it up all into stuff, and then it was too much to fit in their freezer, so they tossed it to everybody at Reaper. And when I saw that it was cut 50-50, that's how he explained it to me.
okay. Well then, I guess my question, Ann, is if I end up with an actual deer with any sort, I'm not gonna eat the whole thing, and I'm probably
Yes.
not gonna have space in my freezer. I'll happily ship you some.
Yes, you should totally ship me some. I'll pay for the extra, like, dry ice or packing material or whatever.
Okay, no problem.
Yes,
And
I,
we'll
I
probably
love venison. Yes. Huh?
okay. Well, let me let me get one first. I've
Yes.
never been hunting, so I don't have much confidence as
You
far as
you'll just
actually seeing a deer.
you'll just be sitting up in a tree for a long time. That's hunting. Bring a book.
Correct. Bring bring a book.
or a podcast, because that lets you scan the underbrush.
Actually, yeah, I like that idea. Now, I will say, if I do go hunting, it's gonna be bow hunting. I'm not gonna
Oh, well,
forget.
now you're a hardcore. Now you're getting hardcore, because that has a really high chance of, like, hurting the deer, and then it's still getting away. Like, it's very
Correct.
hard, yeah, very hard to actually kill your deer fast with that method.
It's one of those things where you have to be very practiced as an archer, I think. And I've done a lot of research, and I've done a lot of oh yeah, there you go. I've done a lot of research, and I've done a lot of like essentially practicing at this point.
Yeah,
But I want to make sure that out to 50 yards, I can have a grouping that's like 3 inches wide.
right.
It's I know that might be a lofty goal, but I want to be there in order to do justice to the animal that I may or may
Right.
not be hunting. So
Crispy's
I have a certain standard. So
Crispy raises a good point. No podcast. You will hear the deer before you see it. So you won't be able to do podcasts. You'll have to bring an old-fashioned book and just look up every once in a while.
now that is hardcore. Bow hunting moose. Talk about an animal. That animals moose don't even go down with a firearm very easy. Like they are behemoth creatures that just don't. Even when you hit them, I've seen this. Because McKaylee's uncle lives up in Alaska, and he hunts
Oh yeah.
basically everything with everything, and including black bear, you name it. But he said that moose are. I mean, you can use the highest caliber rifle you have, and they'll still run 100, 200, 300 yards before they're finally like, okay, I give up.
Or they will turn around and try to kill you because they're
Yes, that
moose.
too.
Because they're moose and they can kill you.
Absolutely. That all they got to do is make the decision. There's not a whole lot you can do about it.
Yep. Yeah, moose are dangerous animals. All right, so now I decided to do some green glazing onto my feathers here. Just green glazing over the pink because I want it to blend in from up there, so I want to do that. I'm thinking I might want to glaze some of the dark purple on there as well, because I wanted that to be kind of on the underside down here, down on the bottom here. So let's see here. So watch out for the squirrel working with the moose. Yeah, that's crazy. Moose are huge. Well, moose get aggressive, I think, more than elk do, Twisted Oma. I think the elk's natural tendency is more to run, but the moose is definitely, like, sometimes they're just, like, gonna fight because they're huge, and they can.
And actually, funny fact on that: most of the attacks that happen that way are from female moose, and they're usually it's because they've got calves or whatever they call their baby. And the male moose, for instance, if they're in pursuit of, I think, a female that's in heat, as it
Uh-huh.
were, they're more likely to, when spooked, run away. Now, if you find two males fighting, don't even bother. Just run, just back away.
I have to go
So,
back up
like,
for actual questions here. Hold on.
no problem. They're warning us to be wary of the moose that are cooperating with the squirrels.
Yeah, but Anara actually had a question. An actual question. Did you use the blue on the spine of the beast? I didn't. Well, I kind of did because I crossed the streams. I kind of put some pink up there and it got over my green. And so I have a little bit of the bluish cast over here. Kind of like on the wing, Anara. And that's kind of why I'm thinking I want to do this for the tail. But I'm going to wait and see how it dries. I might have to put a glaze of the magenta over it to really have it go more blue. I don't want to lose all the pink up here because I have the pink there. So I want to keep some of the pink, but I also probably need to highlight it at this point, make it a little bit lighter, and then I need to bring it darker down on the bottom. I don't know, this tail is hard to paint because you've got these feathers, and then they kind of go into like just spirit energy or whatever you want to call them. So let's see here. Paladin's got it good. Elk will run. Moose will run too, but toward you. Yeah, I could see that. All right, let's see here. What I'm trying to do here also, guys, is I'm adding a little bit of brush on sealer, which remember you can use as a matte medium. Always shake it up really well beforehand. You want to make sure all your matting agent is in solution. Otherwise, by the time you get to the end of your bottle, you'll have frosty sealer. But you can put a few drops of the sealer into a thinned paint application to make it more transparent. So I did that to this. It does change the texture also, so if you are also planning to layer or something with this, I would not recommend it. I find that it is not, it changes the consistency enough to mess up my blending. Because it makes it a little gummy, is the best way I can describe it. Well, yeah, I agree, Achilles. Yeah, I mean, I grew up with my cousins hunting. I get it. And yeah, whitetail is gamey, but apparently the Texas deer are even more gamey because of just the scrub and just like, they just don't have a lot of good fodder to eat. Like whitetail get a bit more higher quality fodder apparently. Texas eat a lot of shrubberies, and just little different diet, as you say. Different diet. But I do get the whole thing about you better kill it and not let it run off. It's your responsibility, ethically, to end the life cleanly so that the deer doesn't get off injured. Hear that, Justin? You better be good.
Listen, if I'm not where I should be by the fall, I'm not going hunting. I've already, because two, I have to consider the sensibilities of McKaylee, because she is very, very, very animal friendly.
Yeah.
She doesn't quite. It's not that she understands hunting, but she doesn't even want me to bring it home unless it's in a packaged, sanitized,
Yeah,
like
right.
she doesn't know it was a deer.
She doesn't want to know it was a deer, yeah. Whereas I'm okay. If it's a tasty animal, it's a tasty animal, but yeah, I don't want to see the eyeballs either. Like, that's my thing, is if it's looking at me, I won't eat it. So, you know, I'm pretty safe with that with deer. I mean, considering I can tell that a steak is a steak, you know, it's part of an animal, I guess I'm not as persnickety about haunches and things like that. But, I don't know. It varies. But I won't eat a fish that has the whole head on it. Or if I do, I have to beg David to remove parts of the fish so that I don't have to look at the head. Yeah, gamey is weird. It's just a lot of, I mean, it varies by what the animal is, right? Because gaminess in one species is different from gaminess in another species. Like, gaminess in a duck is different from gaminess in a deer. So it's nowadays they feed so many of our farmed animals the same stuff, like corn and soybeans, that a lot of meat tends to have an underlying like sweetness that we get used to, and so then we as humans, the gaminess tastes different, more you know, we detect it more readily perhaps because we're used to that corn and soybean fed beef or pork or even salmon, I'm afraid. Poor fish. But yeah, I mean, the flavor will vary depending on species. I think I'm going to need to use some actual magenta to kind of be a bridge between my dark and my light here. So I'm going to kind of paint that in the area between them. Now I'm going to squeeze out my brush and kind of do some wet blending, feather this in a little. I agree with you. I think it was Inara who said she had trouble painting spirity type stuff. I do too. I never know what to do with it. Pretty much, I figured doing kind of a fade transition would be nice for it. Yeah, I mean, I respect people if they don't want to eat, you know, if they don't want to eat animals because it upsets them. I mean, if it's an emotional reason, it doesn't make it non-valid. I don't like anybody who pushes their own beliefs on somebody else and decides to judge them about it. That is true in religion and in food philosophies.
I don't know. I think everyone should eat ribeye steaks that are cooked on
in a cast iron pan. Yeah, everybody.
Yeah, that's not negotiable.
No, I mean, I actually was talking, what was it, David, this morning, just because we were talking about how he usually brings home unusual meat cuts that I haven't cooked before, and then I have to learn how to cook them. So he asked so he asked about octopus, and I'm like, no way. And then part of the reason I won't eat octopus is because it's a really intelligent animal, really intelligent, and I just have a problem with eating really smart things. Like I just don't. I don't know where the line to self-awareness like crosses, right? So I'm just like, it just makes me uncomfortable, and I don't want to do it. And so I guess that in that way, at least in a couple of species, I follow that ethical kind of, I'm not non-animal. Obviously, I eat, beef and all sorts of stuff, but there are definitely lines that I don't want to cross with that because of emotional reasons rather than, scientific reasons. So I can't make fun of people who don't want to eat animals just because of, emotional reasons. To each their own. It just means that they prefer to be a vegivore instead of a carnivore or an omnivore. So I'm using that clear magenta to blend in this whole area, as you can see. Still using, and this is definitely wet blending. I'm definitely using wet paint into wet paint to create nicer blends, smoother blends, make everything come together. And wet blending, if you can get the hang of it, is a nice fast technique to do this. So it lets me lay down my colors and blend them together very quickly. If you have a bit of moisture in your air, if you notice your paint isn't drying very fast on a certain day, that's a great day to try wet blending. Because it definitely is made easier on a day when there's a lot of humidity in the air and your paint won't fight you. Otherwise, in very dry climates, it can be just awful to try to do, and unless you use drying retarder, which, has its own set of issues. So yeah, so there we go. So now we got a nice, let's see if I can get it, how it looks better. Yeah, it's coming along. So yeah, so there's Spirit Beast tails coming along. Yes, ribeye cooked. To see I remember, Alfie, the first time I made you cast iron steak, and you were like, "Well, why would you?" I seem to recall it because why wouldn't you do it on a grill? I guess why would you do it in cast iron instead of a grill? And I guess in my case, we know I'm not very good with the grill yet, so that's why. Yeah, exactly, Kariniko. I perfectly respect other people's food rules because I definitely have food rules, and so I get it. All I ask is that people don't push their food rules on others. Like, don't judge other people for not following their food rules. Because to each their own, as you say. I'm going to add some white to this magenta mixture. I think I need a little bit of opacity to it. I'm not liking quite how it's acting down here. So I have two choices. I can kind of just pick up some white and then dip my brush into the dark magenta and then kind of smoosh it on together, which gives me not too much control over the color I get eventually. But again, I'm wet blending, so I can continue to pick up some of the darker purple. And what that white touch does is give it opacity. So it is going to change the color just a little, but I can always come back and glaze more of this in if I need it. It's going to make the color look a little more solid. It might make it play a little better with blending, because when you're trying to blend from a transparent to a more opaque color, it gets really problematic. It tends to look very odd, and it's hard to get blends. So by doing this, I'm essentially taking a quick way of getting this dark color, but having it blend in a little better to my other parts. And just need to keep mixing in this dark to get the appropriate color that I want. Makes a bit of a grayed out color because there's so much black, because I put black in this, remember? It's in a magenta and Basmara black mix. So it does tend to gray out that color. So we do need to watch that. I'm a pescatarian and no, that's not a religion. Stop asking me that. That's great, Nomadzik. Oh, my dad won't eat veal because baby cows are cute, but he will eat calf's liver. I don't know, because liver is ugly. I don't know. Oh my gosh, people and their food rules. But you know what? It is what it is.
You know what, Ann?
What?
If my cat keeps messing with the router and ends up breaking it, I might eat cat tonight.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, that would imply that your cat isn't very smart, so I might even go for, that. Because if your cat is dumb enough to piss you off that much, then maybe the intelligent animal rule doesn't apply.
Yeah, she has this obsession with our and maybe it's there's some studies to be done there with like electro pulses of some sort. I don't know, but she has a fascination with the router.
Oh, does she?
There's two reasons.
It's lights,
Yeah,
probably. It's the flashing lights. It looks like it's
maybe.
moving.
Yeah, that's fair. And it's the heat too. She
Oh, yeah.
loves the heat.
Robin, I didn't really start out with that idea. What I wanted was a dark backdrop for this water here, and the tail comes right down into the water. I don't want to stick it there because it's wet. But the dark backdrop of the rock here is what makes the water stand out, and so you can see the details. So I knew that I needed to go dark behind here, so I decided I was going to go dark and do a blend with the pink on this tail. I do think I've got a little bit too pink, so I'm going to add a lot of white to this to knock the pink down, because right now this is way too saturated for the spirit beast, and he doesn't have enough pink on the rest of him. Although I can bring up the pink on his mane, because mane and tail tend on horses anyway tend to be the same color, so that would make sense. But yeah, originally this was just a placement call, and there's no reason that he couldn't have a two-tone tail because spirit beast. But yes, you could think of it as a shadow also. And certainly that is where the shadow would fall. But if I was going to do that, then I also need to shade like under here with the same color, like make my shadows a little more consistent probably. I do think I'm going to play with some white and lighten this up a bit on the upper parts. Mostly I was thinking like just kind of magical tail. I don't really care about natural shadows on my magical tail.
When you are 100% correct. That is,
Mm-hmm.
I wholeheartedly believe that.
I missed it.
Also, they said they're intelligent enough to find out what bothers you. Cats are intelligent; they just don't care.
Yes, yes.
That
That's
is,
true.
I've never met a more uncaring animal than my Siamese meow meow here.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Siamese especially. They're like the only thing bitchier than a Siamese is a bitchy calico. I owned one of those, so I
You know
can
what?
speak to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That sounds right.
So I've got my paint a little thick here. So once again, I'm going to grab some, clean off my brush, and come back with a damp brush. Little did you know this was going to be a wet blending lesson, guys. Damp brush to kind of fudge that edge out and blend it in. Got a little bit light. Don't mind getting light because I do want to bring up the highlights here. Yeah, I had a calico. I had both. I had a half Siamese and a calico, and I have owned a pure red Siamese as well.
Look at that, Anne.
Our
Our voice
Cornico's
is being
cats. We have a cat audience.
yes.
We gotta stop
Uh,
dissing cats then.
I would say we have a captivated audience.
Oh God, Justin, you
I'll be
had
there
to
all
go
weekend.
there. Oh my gosh.
And this is while my cat lays here in my lap and enjoys her pets. Because at the end of the day, I'm convinced she hates it. She gets on the router just so I'll pick her up and love on her.
Well,
She
and every
knows.
time you do it, every time you do that, you
I
reinforce her
reinforce
behavior.
it. Yeah, you're right. But damn it, she's too cute.
Cute and evil, apparently, which
Yeah,
is
because
cats.
one of these days if my router stops working, we'll know why.
Yeah, yeah, she sabotaged it. Although she may be dismayed then to realize that she's unfortunately, destroyed her opportunity to get pettins.
She's like, oh no. By the way, maybe anyone in chat here can help me, or maybe you can, Ann.
Uh
Is
huh.
there a pet device out there for cats that's meant to act like a kind of like a heating pad, but meant to give them like a warm, like something I can just turn on for a long time that
Huh.
gives them a warm spot to want to lay on that
Uh,
isn't my router?
like a heating blanket almost. But
Yeah,
but you can't really leave like an electric blanket. You don't want to leave on for a long time usually
yeah,
because they are dangerous if you do. I'm
absolutely.
not certain if anybody they're. I'm not sure. They make heating pads for baby puppies because puppies, like newborn puppies, can't regulate their heat. their body temperature yet. Like it takes several days for them to do so. And so they do make heating pads for puppies, but I don't know if your cat would like that as much as the router.
Looks like there's some heated cat cubbies. Okay.
Maybe, maybe. Yeah, it makes sense that there would be a heated cat bed. Baby animals, yep. Yep, Kariniko, just what I was saying. Heated cat bed.
I need to get one of those because I think that might help us in this case. She loves her little cubby. Like she likes the she's a tree cat. Like she likes to go high up on stuff.
Uh-huh.
However, that being said, she does like her little cubby, like memory foam, little bed thing we have for her. Like she likes to crawl up in it
Yeah.
because then she'll swat at stuff and every time we get close. But she, yeah, so she likes that. So maybe I'll get a heated cat cubby, assuming they don't cost an arm and a leg.
Right. All right, so there we go. So now I'm bringing up the white on the tail so that it's not going to be so bright. And I think I might like that a little bit better next to Spirit Beast. That white, I think, the very pale pink and the white looks better on him than just the really, really bright, bright pink. So I think I like that effect a lot. So cool.
Oh, now I'm worried, Francis. I guess I won't get one. See, that's what I'm worried about. I thought about just trying the heating pads, the ones that shut off, or even on low setting after like 2 hours or something.
Right.
But I my biggest fear is either electrocution or like cooking her. I actually don't. I joke about cooking her. I don't actually want to cook her. I don't.
You don't want to inadvertently cook her. You don't want to cook
Correct.
her without intending to.
Yeah. Yes.
Justin, you're so silly.
I try to be.
So I'm
I thought
putting.
David had a cat.
Huh?
Did David not have a cat?
No, his mom's allergic to animals, so
That's right.
they
I
didn't have any
remember.
pets. Kiri is his first experience living with an animal. Just kind of doing all this. I'm thinking about doing some Tanzia jade with some white, maybe, on the end of this feather to work my green in. I think I'm going to work some more of the green in here. I think I want to fade it in a little bit more. Take up a little bit more of this pink. And really, I'm just like pushing it around and seeing if I like the effect, guys. Like at this point, I want to have a kind of a blended into the top here. I might highlight some of these feathers with a pink and white mixture. If you do paint feathers, you usually you don't have to paint every quill, but I will often use thin paint to edge them, to bring out the edges. Too much water. Floop. I'm gonna have to redo that one. When you get that drop of water on your brush handle and it goes down into the paint, and you're like, no.
What kind of snakes do you have, Crispy? Because like left up to my fiance, we would have an entire it's not a terrarium. What are those? What are those
Herpetarium?
called? Like
Herpetarium?
herpetarium? Yeah, herpetarium.
Snake enclosure.
Yeah, she doesn't care so much for snakes, but God, does she love lizards? She loves lizards and frogs.
You'd have the iguana that was cute when it was like 4 inches long, and then it grew to be 4 feet.
She wanted some of those those I guess domesticated is a way to put it, although probably not really. But those like monitor lizards, the smaller ones. Yeah, she likes the big. She wants a lizard that grows to be the size of a corgi. She's okay with that.
Oh my, no thank you.
I don't want to play fetch with a lizard that big. I'm sorry.
Oh well, your pet. She's just gonna have to build herself a reptile enclosure in the yard and have a little reptile house out there. Could do that in Texas.
Yeah.
Stays warm enough. Well, in the winter they'd have to come inside or get a heater out there, I suppose.
I surprised her with the local. There was I guess a herpetology type convention thing,
Oh,
and there was people who whole bunch of animals, right? Like, and they're obviously to purchase, they're to see that kind of stuff.
right.
She was excited about it, and she she I swear we went in there. We almost came out with a half a dozen reptiles.
Oh yeah, that's the problem. Well, now you know her weakness. There, we've got some highlights on our feathers to kind of take the green down.
Oh gosh, Planner, that is crazy. That is, oh boy, no, I do not want that. I mean, I'm not. I would, I would love an animal like that. I don't want to take care of an animal like that because they have to have all kinds of special needs. I imagine.
More special than just having a cat around the house. That's
Correct. It's yeah. My cat, yells at, or not yells. My cat messes with the router. That thing might eat my cat.
I'll stick to fuzzy animals. I had fish for a while. I had saltwater fish. The saltwater tank was fun, but it is high maintenance. Now I just like to go to aquariums. Mine didn't end disastrously. I actually sold them back to the saltwater fish store in town before I left Madison. This was when I was in Wisconsin that I had them. I kept lionfish, and they're pretty hardy, and they're also, I don't feel bad about taking them off the reef because they're actually a nuisance animal. Um, and I think they're awesome. So,
Yeah, they're widely hunted and eaten in Florida pretty much year round.
yeah. But yeah, since they propagate so quickly, and they're territorial, and they kill. Obviously they'll eat anything that fits in their mouths, and sometimes they'll try to eat things that don't. So yeah, I didn't feel bad. I really like lionfish. I love the way they look. So having one in my home was cool. But yeah, I just it's a high maintenance hobby, and I realized that I didn't want something quite like that. So
I know that it would probably be hard to enforce, but there is a in Florida actually. If you catch one, if you're out hunting and you catch one, and you go to release it back, it's incredibly illegal to do that. You cannot release
oh,
it back. If
I
you
see.
catch it, you have the obligation to either kill it or either just be rid of it.
Right.
Same thing in Texas for the invasive. What is
Yeah.
it? Like gar and stuff. You're not
Yeah.
allowed to put gar back in.
Yeah. Oh, Crispies, that sounds terrible. Leak in the plumbing and 56-gallon tank nearly collapsed. Ow. That's just bad. Yeah, in Wisconsin it might be hard. Yeah, but grab a bucket of water from the lagoon. Well, yeah, except that's not as clean as it used to be either, right? Because pollution. Um, I missed him, but yeah, I get your point. And just it's frequent water changes, right? It's just you've got to commit to that frequent water changes to keep a healthy environment, and keep an eye on your pH and your nitrates and nitrites, and it was a little bit, it was fun, but it also just got to be a bit of work. So there was a time where I was just like, all right, this was fun, but now we're done. Mixing up a color to kind of go around these didn't do any shading around these guys up here, so I kind of want to mix up a purpley shade for that to kind of put some shading up here. Ooh, that's a pretty dark pink. I gotta say that magenta plus black plus white makes some very pretty dark pinks. Just kind of blend that in. So I didn't really know what I wanted to do with this tail when I started, but it's come along. And sometimes when you work on a model, this is just what you want to do. You just want to futz with it till you get something you like. And if you have to paint it over, oh noes, you have to paint it over. But
Paladin, that's I'm starting to think that's just a trend at this point. Like everyone I talk to, their wife or their fiance or their girlfriend is it's almost always in the background playing Animal Crossing.
Ha.
Like my McKaylee, for instance, and she basically plays two games, and that's it. She plays Counter Strike Global Offensive, and she plays Animal Crossing. It's a weird collective of games, but that's it. She does not play any other kinds of games.
That's funny. I play Pokemon Go instead of Animal Crossing. I never got into Animal Crossing.
I'm with you there. Yeah, I got it thinking I was gonna like it, and I played it for a little bit. I was like, this is okay, but it's not really for me.
Yeah, I never even tried it because I picked up Pokemon and I liked it. So it's just like, well, there's my game. So maybe if I just get sick of Pokemon, I'll try Animal Crossing. But I don't really need another game to addict myself. I've got enough work to do. Like, if I was looking for a time sink, great. But I'm actually the opposite of looking for a time sink. So put some green on top of those pink. Yeah, I've heard that it's a very cute game. Yep, and I like the cuteness. I like the cuteness in Pokemon. But I also like that Pokemon makes me go out and walk if I want to hatch my eggs.
Oh, you're talking about Pokemon Go.
Yeah, I play Pokemon Go.
Oh, I thought you were okay. I thought
No,
you were
no, I'm
talking
not playing
about
the
the one
regular
on the
games.
Switch.
I actually have no interest in the regular games.
That's why I was like, wow, man, that's awesome. We should talk about that sometime. But I realized you were talking about Go
Yeah,
now.
I'm talking about Go. Yeah, I use it purely as a motivational device for walking. So, I like to catch the creatures. I like to evolve them. But, other than that, like I said, I don't need a time sink, right? I've got a lot I need to do. So, it's like, I kind of have to look at my computer gaming time pretty stringently. Especially now because I play games with David, so I also, I don't want too much time to go to computer games in my life. There's other things that I want to do. So, but we're still playing through the downloadable content on Borderlands 3 and playing some Overwatch because, I like that game. Although I saw Skyrim is putting out some new content, or Elder Scrolls, I should say, but Skyrim E.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the MMO. They're
Yeah.
releasing the Skyrim expansion or whatever the hell they call it now.
Yeah, it makes me tempted.
Did you play Elder Scrolls originally?
I played a little bit of Oblivion, and I played a lot of Skyrim, but I didn't
Well,
play
that's
the MMO.
right, and this is the MMO, and they've released
I
an
see.
expansion that is set in Skyrim.
Oh, okay.
And that's why, like, I love the Elder Scrolls games.
Yeah.
I do not care for the MMO that much. 'Cause
Really?
It's kind of, yeah, it's you might like it, but it's to me it doesn't feel like it's in the spirit of an Elder Scrolls game.
Oh, because it's an MMO.
Correct. It doesn't feel. It feels like too much of a I guess a mass-produced experience versus what Skyrim or what the Elder Scrolls games have been. I mean, more power to you if you enjoy it. I personally just couldn't get into it because it felt like it was bland.
Yeah, I didn't really pick it up, so I had enough MMOs at the time. And David and I will probably go back to WoW when the Shadowlands launches this fall. So again, it's
Me
like,
too. I'm
yeah,
excited for that.
yeah, it looks like it might be a really good expansion. I have high hopes for it.
Level cap is 60 again. How awesome is that?
Hmm.
The level cap is going to be 60 again.
Oh, are they downscaling again? Are they
Yeah, no,
backscaling?
not only that, but yes, all the numbers. We're talking about in-game, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
might hit 4 digits.
Yeah. They did that a while ago, and because they've just had so many expansions, and it just got out of control. I totally understood why they did it. But yeah, that's good. It's good. Awesome.
Yeah, the Shadowlands experience is going to be from 50 to 60. So it's not
Nice.
even 60 to 70. It's like 60
They're
is the
dialing it.
absolute
Yeah,
minimum.
they're dialing it way back. Great. Good. Good.
I'm not surprised, Avrilina of Tarnassus, that you'll be
Yeah, with
playing.
your name that you'll be playing. Yeah, exactly. Maybe we'll have to make a Reaper WoW guild. I might
Oh,
I might be very interested in that, getting a nice guild together with our fans, and that way we can all like play together and help each other craft and stuff. Because I don't have a
yeah.
guild anymore because my old group of friends that used to play doesn't play anymore. And I know David and I are going to play. So if you guys like are interested, if a lot of you don't have a current guild or a family guild or whatever, and if you want to get a guild together, when Shadowlands launches, maybe we should talk about that.
Yeah, let's do that. Type a one in chat if you play WoW and you're interested in a Reaper community driven guild.
Yes, type one.
Give us a one in chat if you're interested in playing some WoW with the community.
Yeah, like if we have a Reaperites guild planer, that would be kind of fun. I think I like a lot of you guys, and you seem like sane and not crazy people, and a lot of you are even my patrons. So like it would be kind of fun to play WoW with my patrons. Because, yeah, that's the one thing that kind of gave me pause. I'm like, well, how am I going to find a guild? Because I want one. Like, it's just too useful, especially with crafting stuff. And I love to craft. And I'm willing to switch servers. I don't care about the $25 fee or whatever they charge. So I'm up for that. I do like WoW. And I used to raid. I like to do dungeons. Not WoW. Well, no. Played her crossword 0. Avrelina says once. We've got a few. That's just in current chat. I don't know. Maybe we should. I'll talk about it a little more when Shadowlands gets closer.
Yeah. Well, how about this? We'll probably put together something, and if you guys want to be a part of it, then we'll just open it up for anyone to kind of.
Yeah. Well, we should have a Reaper guild. Yeah, Justin, for sure. Like, because if you are you and McKaylee both gonna play?
I got her to play a little bit of Legion originally, not Legion, BFA. She raided a little bit with us.
Oh, okay.
But it's just not her. It's not a cup of tea.
Not her thing. Really fast. Oh, okay. Well, if you and any of the guys at Reaper like put together a guild, yeah, David and I probably would be interested. And then we could do involve the community if the community wants to be involved.
Oh yeah.
Whatever works. I think with guilds more people is better, just because inevitably people kind of fall off the end of the earth or decide to stop playing, and so if you've got a nice core that's active, then you can still continue to play even when some people stop, because life interferes. I know I've had to drop MMOs and stuff in the past when I just got too busy, but it's nice to have a big group to start with so that you still have a core.
Completely agree.
What do you play, Justin?
Oh, as far as MMOs go at this point, nothing really. I actually kind of bounce around. Right now, I'm in this weird limbo. I went back to playing Path of Exile for like a couple of weeks, and then that kind of the league is about to be over, so I kind of got bored with that. And
right.
Then, I think at this point, I'm more recently I've been playing Pathfinder Kingmaker.
Oh, cool. You like it?
It's a fun game. It's kind of like one of those classic RPGs. It's what it feels like, with the pause combat, and it's D&D and it's Pathfinder. I love Pathfinder, so it's easy to just pick up and play. But I'm bouncing around with all kinds of games. I've been looking at a game called Space Haven.
Okay.
It's like I don't know, you build a colony in space kind of thing.
Oh, cool. That sounds fun. I like building games. Is it turn-based strategy like Civilization or what?
No, it's more like. Did you ever play Stardew Valley?
What was it? Did I play what? You cut out.
Stardew Valley. Have you ever played that?
No, but I've heard about it. I have heard about that.
And it's kind of like that. It's a top down. It's an isometric where you kind of almost RTS like, where you tell your people what to build and where, and then you kind of like Sim City, but for a colony in space, maybe.
Yeah,
you look at it like that. Not Sim City, Sim City. But that's kind of in a nutshell what it is. It's not,
All right, so here, just to go briefly on topic, since apparently Friday is off-topic day, what I've been doing is taking my thinned down white paint and doing just hitting the edges of feathers to bring them out better and make them look more finished. So now that is going to probably, and now that it's dry, I can actually put it in front of the water and test it out, since we've been kind of painting in a vacuum at this point. Ooh, Spirit Beast has a lot of pink. So I'm going to have to add some pink if I use this, because the pink is still pretty strong. So I think I do need to maybe tone this pink down with a bit more white down here. I like how it looks in the back. It's going to look just perfect next to the wing there once I blend it in. So that will work up here on the tail if I stick to these colors. And so then all I have to worry about is the fact that I've gotten very pink here, and I need to probably... I like how the colors are coming together, but I need more pink. Because essentially, when you look at the model, all you're going to stare at first is this pink. Because it's the warmest and lightest thing on the model. So essentially, if I want to do this, I need to introduce pink up somewhere else, or I need to take this pink down. And by taking it down, I mean it needs to be less bright. And the way I would probably choose to do that would be either hitting it with a little bit of a glaze of the dark here, like really thin down to knock it down. I could glaze some green over it, but I really don't want it to go blue. I want to keep some of the pink here. Probably the best way to do it would be to add a glaze of white over the top so that I can make it lighter, and maybe even paint some green into it in parts so that it fits in more with the Spirit Beast. Let's see here. Oh boy, it's almost 11. Crap. So let's try to paint some green into it.
Wow, Margaret, you're playing Breath of the Wild on Master Mode? You're a madman. That's... I love that game. I just couldn't play much of it beyond, like, normal. But I also am not one of those people that likes to beat myself over the head with a difficult video game. When I play video games, I almost always want the experience to be really chill. Unless, you know... Like, I love tactical games. I'd rather my difficulty come from a tactical game and almost like playing chess, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be... I'm good on the fast twitch, muscle memory type stuff.
Yeah, I also like to kind of chill out with games, and I don't like it if they're too hard or too... Like, David picked up Destiny 2 again, and he's been complaining that it's just too... It's not a user-friendly game.
No, it's crazy now.
Yeah, so it's like that's kind of how I feel, is I want a game where I can, figure out how it works fairly easily and be chill with it. I don't need a game that makes me stressed out. There we go. We've got some green in there now.
I like that, actually. That contrast looks good.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll keep playing with this. Probably this is where I'll go with it. I'll introduce like little bits of green into the pink to kind of break it up, and also to make it kind of harken back to the whole Spirit Beast color scheme. And that breaking up the pink is one way to take down the vibrancy of it and make it a little less intrusive. There are lots of different like little color things you can do to try to, to do it like I talked about, glazing it with a different color or darkening it or lightening it, but also kind of interrupting it. Putting other touches of color in there so that you replace some of the pink with something else is a very valid way to kind of disrupt it if you want to take down a color a bit. Now, I do need to see, yep, my water still shows up because my dark tail here. Also, the darkness of the tail could suggest that that part of the tail is wet, guys. So if I wanted to, I could gloss it and make that part of the tail actually wet, which is kind of fun, and I might actually do that. That could be a good time. So let me grab just a little bit more of this. I guess we should wrap it up since it's almost 11. I did start late, but now we've got an hour and 20 in almost. So any questions, you guys, while I sit here and kind of add a little bit more green to my Spirit Beast? That's pretty. It's like cotton candy, right? This is a cotton candy Spirit Beast. There. Liking my Spirit Beast. Yeah, that really... Notice how that really kind of knocks down the pink and makes it a lot more. Now if I go back and I highlight with white, the pink will be really low. It'll take it down quite a bit. I am liking the Spirit Beast, though. I do need to finish his horns, too. And I need to get the green out and do a lot of sculpting on him. So he has a lot of stuff that needs to get finished, and I need to fix that mold line also on the other side of the tail. So yeah, but that's how he's coming out, guys. Look, Spirit Beast almost got finished. Like he's really close actually. It wouldn't take very long. I mean, the green work will probably take an evening for me to get all the green on the tail, gap filled, put a little bit of maybe some fluffy detail up here where his horn joint is, and then finish out the water on the other side. So, yeah, I mean, he'll have a fair number of hours in him by the time I'm done with him, but that's to be expected with a larger model, right? He's much larger than a human model, or a humanoid model would be. So, if I look at him next to my Dark Sword Dragonkin, then he's quite a bit larger. So, and he's got so many textures, so you know that he's definitely got a lot of things going on that you have to paint a little bit differently. So he is taking a while. Underside of the tail down here in Ara. I mean, I want it to stay dark. And on the other side, I will paint it dark as well. So like over here, you can see it's still very pink. But that's why I've kept it detached so that I can pull it off and work on the underside. I imagine that for the underside here, I'll do what I did up here. I'll do a bit of green glazing to bring that down. And then down here on the bottom, I'll probably do the opposite of what I did over here. I'll continue to do dark on the bottom. And I'll do the top kind of like that. So I like this color scheme here, so I will probably work it on the other side of the tail. Makes sense to do so. But yeah, except that I'm going to highlight it more with more white.
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, it's all good. Yeah, it looks like the color in the tail is reacting to the water. Well, that's why I said I might take all this dark area on the tail and put a gloss coat, put some gloss on it like I did on the rock behind to make it look like it's wet. Which would make it not spirit energy, but something else, but I don't really care about that. It might be cool anyway.
Well, Miss Ann, are you ready for me to kind of wrap it up with a rate?
Well, did you discover someone who needs to be rated, or are we doing Paizo again?
I think we're gonna do Paizo again since it's kind of the last couple of streams before the con's over. So.
Oh, is it? Okay. Do you know what they're doing right now? What are they streaming about?
Yeah, they have a panel currently on. Or last I checked, it was a panel. Let me look at the schedule. World of Galarian.
All right. So world, like the actual world stuff. So that's really cool. Awesome. Alrighty.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I haven't. Planer, thanks for the reminder, guys. I have a Patreon. Yay! And so many of you have joined recently. I'm totally delighted to have you with us. And I actually have my paint along videos to work on in the next 2 days. I've already started working on those. But yeah, so come on over. It's patreon.com/paintingbig. I do have some free stuff on there. So if you want to, my public posts just are kind of fun. And I did, I think, an eyeball tutorial and some other stuff. So you can take a look at it, see if you like my style. Although if you're watching my streams, I think you probably do like my style. At any rate, have a great weekend, guys. And I'll see you again on Monday morning, bright and shiny, okay? Everybody have a great day. And enjoy PaizoCon.
All right, guys. Don't forget to we have Reaper Land at 3 o'clock coming up in about 2 hours, and then at 6 o'clock tonight we have Reaper Errant. Guys, Reaper Errant. You don't want to miss that because not only am I going to be a part of it, yours truly, but we got all of the awesome artists in, and we have some of the best DMing from Frank over at Nightheart, who's hosting it, and it's going to be a blast. We're supposed to go kill the witch in the swamp tonight, and I get the ability to shoot some firebolts and stuff. So you guys come check it out. Keep being awesome, and we will see you guys later.